Okay, we're now looking at Ephesians 2:8. Remember the yellow text in the previous episode of this 5. This is now 5c. In 5b, we saw the yellow commentary, and we also saw that Calvin himself recognized that it was salvation in Ephesians 2:8 that was the gift of God, singular, in the verse. Now we're going to see it from the Greek itself. The word right here, that's the debate. In the video in the sidebar from Lane Channel, the guy in the video is claiming that there are two gifts referenced by this one word, that. In the Greek, that's an impossible construction. In English, it is not. In Greek, it is. In fact, in English, it's very rare, too. It would be considered bad grammar. See, the guy in the video, and hopefully you've watched it by now, is saying, by grace, and there's nobody's doubting the grace part, okay? You have been saved. We saw in episode 5b, okay, that yellow text and Calvin himself were referencing, yes, you have been saved. Salvation is the noun for this verb phrase, okay? That is singular. That is one idea. That is one thing. And the word that in English as well as in the Greek is in the singular. Okay? Touto is the Greek word that's translated that. And if you look in the lower left-hand corner, you'll see that it comes from the Greek word hutas, which can mean either this or that, depends on the context. And it's a pointer. Okay? When it's pointing backwards, it means that. When it's pointing forwards, it means this. But no matter which way it points, it must match in number and gender to whatever noun it matches. Okay? But there's no noun here. It's a clause, which the guy in the Lane video did recognize. Nominative neuter singular of hutas is touto. And here's touto in the actual Bible verse in the Greek. Right? It's talking about what? It's talking about you are saved. That's all it's talking about. Why do you know that? You know that because this is in the feminine singular. See, look. We're looking at a singular here. That's neuter singular. So it has to modify, it has to point back to something also in the singular. And it also must match in gender. Well, pisteus doesn't match in gender. Pistis is a feminine noun. Look in the lower left-hand screen. It's not referring to pistis as the gift in this verse. It's not referring to pistis. It's referring to the whole idea. You are saved. How do we know that? We know that because it's a periphrasis. A periphrasis is a fancy word for you are saved, where the writer slows down to have a dramatic effect. You are saved. You are saved. You are saved. That slowness, it takes longer to... Periphrasis means you're adding words to make it linger. Okay? So Paul's lingering over you are saved. It's translated in English have been, which really isn't a good way to do it. But there's no way to convey the tone in English. Okay, you have to say it aloud. You are saved, because that's literally what the Greek is saying. You are saved. This is a participle. Another thing in Greek is that a participle is used when you want to stress drama. They shift from verbs to nouns in Greek to make it more dramatic. That's just a feature of the language. So touto is referring to you are saved. It's referring to one thing because it's in the singular, not two things. You are saved is one thing, and diapisteos is another thing. So if Paul was referring to both faith and salvation as gifts, touto wouldn't be there. It would have to be in the neuter plural. Okay? And we also know that that's true because look at this. To doron. Doron is the Greek word for gift. Present. Okay? That goes, of course, with charis right here, which is also in the feminine. Alright? To doron. Neuter. Singular. One gift. Not two. So, which of these two is going to be the gift that Paul is talking about? It's going to be this one. It can only be one of them. Alright? That's the clause. It's a verb clause. If Paul was talking about faith as the gift, included with the verb clause, this would have to be in the plural because this is a verb clause and this is a prepositional clause. Got that? They're two things. So this being in the singular is only referring to one of them. And it can't be referring to pisteus because pisteus is in the feminine. And the Greek grammar rule would have to then change and make that into afte. Okay? It's in the wrong gender and it's in the wrong number, so it can't reference both of these things. Now, having said that, what is this whole thing if I were to make it into one? Because that's what the Guy in Lane Channel's video is claiming. Okay? It would be a rule. It's God's rule that you believe in His Son to be saved. Who's the gift? Christ. The gift. Christ. Alright. Now to underscore this fact, see this is in the singular, so it's one gift. Who's the gift? Christ. What do you do to get that? You believe through faith.